The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Exploring the Unknown with Rebecca and Shay. Taking stories from today's news, Rebecca and Shay will explore everything from the paranormal, supernatural, the strange and unusual, unsolved mysteries, and more. Join them as they delve deep into the unknown and mysterious. Taken from news headlines. Water cooler chat with a paranormal twist. Only on Paranormal Buzz Radio. Hey, Rebecca, how you doing?
Good. How are you, Shay?
I am good. Good. Busy, as always.
Oh, yeah. There's always something.
Yep. And when I think I have a 5-second break, I create 5 hours of work.
Right? That's usually the way it goes.
Yep.
Like, oh, I can start a new project. Ha, 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 ha. And then, yeah, I start a new project.
Yeah. The thing I'm worst at in life is sanding, because I either, I did some patching in the sheetrock, so there was mud and tape and stuff, and in the living room now. So I either sand too much or not enough. There is no in between. None.
No in between.
No in between at all. So, what have you been up to this week?
Gosh, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Where did this week go? We were out at the farm this weekend. We got a live stream camera set up.
What?
Yeah. Woohoo! So we watched that a little bit last night. Heard some footsteps and stuff. So,
oh, nice.
Well, I'm excited to see what kind of evidence we get pulled off of that.
Data.
Yeah, data. Well, now once it becomes evidence, it starts as data, but then it becomes evidence, right?
Oh, no, not in my opinion. But this is why I team myself up with strong, independent co-hosts. You, Kelly. I'll be making some more announcements down the road, but this is why, because I want somebody to feed off of, and if they don't agree, I want them to tell me. So,
well, yeah, it's like I said, it was exciting last night. They did a Facebook live stream of it, and we're all sitting there watching, and we all heard footsteps and stuff, and my son was there, so I text messaged him real quick. I'm like, "What are you at? What are you doing? Are you walking around?" And he's like, "No, I'm laying on the couch with my headphones on. I haven't moved for the last hour." It's like, yay!
That's awesome. I missed it. I'm still on my social media sabbatical for the most part. There's too much negativity, and I am not on as much as I used to be on purpose.
Yeah, and I'm the same here. I kind of reading a lot more books is what I'm doing.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's more positive energy than Facebook, let me tell you.
Yeah. I've had to hide some people just because I can't deal with that level of negativity, and just I can't do political posts all the time.
See, you're better than me. I don't even, that new sleep option?
Yeah.
I don't even fucking use that. Like, if I've had enough, I just unfriend them. If they really piss me off, like my other sister, I just fucking block them. I don't care.
I've only blocked a few people, and usually I will just unfollow, which means that we're still friends. I don't know. Until I stop liking and commenting on their posts, if they notice that. But usually I just unfollow, and then if I want to go look and make sure they're still, like, right in that course they're on, and then I can, but
I just don't have time, so they usually know right away. I just, boom, unfriend. It takes a lot for me to unfriend somebody. It takes even more for me to block them.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I rarely unfriend people. I will unfollow, but I will rarely unfriend, and it's a rare person that I will block. But it's happened. It has happened.
Yeah, me too. A lot. It's happened a lot to me lately, and sorry, not sorry. I don't care.
And same. I've unfollowed more people in the last month than I have in a long time. But again, mainly because I can't deal with all that negativity and stuff.
No, I need positivity in my life.
Right.
I don't need, and I'm not talking about the random person that puts up a negative post, because we all do that. But I'm talking one after another, after another, after another. It's like, no.
Agreed. I'm Facebook friends with you because I want to see what you're doing in your life and your friends and stuff. I don't need to know about all kinds of political mumbo jumbo every 5 seconds because I can look at that if I want. I don't need you sharing all your crap with.
Yeah, and I don't bring it up to them because it's their Facebook page and it's their right to share or say whatever they want, but it's my right not to see it. So,
right. Agreed.
Yep. So before we get into our story, I do want to, this is our season finale.
Yes.
So I want to give out a few couple shout outs here to some listeners, and Matt Waddell, Mama Deb have never missed a show.
Yay, Matt, and yay, Mama Deb.
Yep. Darren Buss has not missed many, and even when he does, he goes back and listens and always shares them.
Yeah.
So, and then a huge shout out to Amelia, Rebecca's daughter, and to my 2 adult kids that put up with us recording every Tuesday early afternoon while they're stuck in the house. They do their best to be quiet. They really do.
They do try.
They do try. And I know our show is at a odd time on a Sunday afternoon, and not everybody listens. Some people don't listen at all because it's not their cup of tea. We went way out of the range of what Paranormal Buzz usually does on purpose. But the ones that do listen to the replays, thank you so much. Let's see, who else am I forgetting? Probably a lot of people, but
probably those are the ones that stand out the most. I know my friend Lloyd's been listening.
Yes, hi Lloyd, and he comments all the time.
Yes, Lloyd's a big guy.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Those are the ones that stand out to me. I know we have more, and definitely it's awesome to see people pop up in the Facebook group and stuff. So
yeah, so we're gonna keep recording and torture our children some more while we're getting ready for season 2.
Season 2 is coming.
It is coming. So, all right, what is today's story?
So today's story is the most haunted places in the United States. This one is on National Geographic and was published October 22nd of 2018. Yeah. In the spring of 1692, a dangerous hysteria descended on the quiet town of Salem, Massachusetts, snaking through the community like an insidious virus. Over the coming months, a group of young girls claiming to be possessed by the devil condemned a score of men and women to the gallows in one of history's most infamous witch hunts. One of the hysteria's most notable victims was 80-year-old farmer Giles Corey, accused of being a warlock after publicly questioning the girls' motives. In September of 1692, after spending months in prison and refusing to stand trial, Corey was stripped bare, a board was placed on his chest, and heavy stones were piled on him as life slowly drained from his body. It's said that his ghost still roams Salem. Howard Street Cemetery, where Corey is buried, is one of many sites across the United States believed to host the paranormal. Whether or not you believe in ghosts, their haunting lore is often rooted in very real histories.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't been to Stanley, Shay.
Oh, multiple times.
I want to go. One of these days.
Yeah. Wait, I'm from Massachusetts, so.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. It's a little closer for you to go than it is for me.
Yeah. It is great. October they do this huge thing. That's always fun. Only been to that once where they have all the haunted houses and stuff, but we've been multiple times, and it never disappoints. So.
Huh. I'm going to go. It's on my list.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next one's on my list, too. The Laurie Mansion, New Orleans, Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This article says, Madame Marie Delphine Laurie was a Louisiana socialite known for hosting ritzy soirees in her decadent Creole mansion in the French Quarter of New Orleans during the early 19th century. Guests gorged on fine food and champagne, unaware of the grisly scene unfolding 2 floors above. When local police responded to a kitchen fire in 1834, they discovered the bodies of several horribly mutilated slaves in the attic. When the public learned of Laurie's grotesque secret, a mob stormed the house, prompting her to flee to France. Soon after Laurie disappeared from New Orleans, people claimed to hear the phantom screams of her victims spilling from the house in the dead of night. Spooky fact. In 2014, the infamous murderess was reborn through Kathy Bates in the television series American Horror Story Coven. How to visit. The Laurie Mansion is now privately owned and doesn't offer tours, but several city tour operators such as free tours by foot and ghost city tours include a stop at the Royal Street Mansion on their itinerary. Again, that's one I want to go to. Have you been, Shay?
No.
Yeah, New Orleans is on my list.
Oh, yeah. So. I think it's on almost everybody's list.
Right.
Yeah, I've never been, and I know a little bit of the history, but not a lot, but I have heard of this place and would love to go. Yeah.
It looks really cool.
It does.
The Shanghai Tunnels, Portland, Oregon.
Yep.
It's one of the most dangerous ports in the United States during the early 19th century and was the epicenter of an illicit maritime practice known as Shanghaiing, a form of human trafficking. According to local lore, swindlers preyed upon unsuspecting men in the local saloons, which were often outfitted with trapdoors that deposited the victims directly into a network of underground tunnels. These men were supposedly held captive, drugged, and eventually transported to the waterfront, where they were sold to ships as unpaid laborers. Some worked for several years before finding their way back home. The tunnels are said to be haunted by aggrieved spirits of the captives who died in the dark recesses beneath the city. Spooky fact, the practice of kidnapping men to work on ships became to be known as Shanghaiing because the ships they were sold to were often headed to East Asia. How to visit. Portland Walking Tours and the Cascade Geographic Society offer guided tours of the Portland tunnels, where visitors get a sinister history lesson in the dark. Don't worry, they provide flashlights.
Ooh.
That one sounds interesting.
A lot of places that have sad history, I find, have a lot of activity. But it's not always to the folklore in the history. It just attracts other activity, if that makes sense.
Right.
You don't always get the activity you think you're going to get when you walk into these places.
I agree. It seems like, they tell you the story and then you get different types of activity. I've noticed that.
Yeah. I agree. The next place I've been to and investigated also.
That's what I was thinking. I thought you'd been to this one. Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia. This menacing Gothic-style prison opened in Philadelphia in 1829 and became the first in the United States to implement solitary confinement, a hotly debated practice. Prisoners languished in gloomy stone cells with virtually no human contact, with hoods placed over their heads anytime they were moved. Proponents of this system believed that solitude would lead to penitence, which would ultimately result in rehabilitation. Critics, on the other hand, believed it incited emotional anguish comparable to physical torture. The so-called Pennsylvania system was replicated in several other states and in Europe. When the prison closed in 1971, it is believed that the ghosts of the inmates took back the prison. Visitors claim to see their apparitions wandering the corridors and hear mischievous whispers in abandoned cell blocks. Spooky fact: each summer, the penitentiary hosts an annual Bastille Day celebration to commemorate the French Revolution. 2,000 tasty cakes, a Philadelphia treat, are flung from the prison's towers while a Marie Antoinette impersonator is dragged to the guillotine. I did not know that. It's
Me neither, actually.
How to visit. Eastern State Penitentiary offers daytime tours year-round as well as special events. If you're feeling brave, visit during the fall when decommissioned prison transforms into terror behind the walls, one of the top haunted houses in the country. Yeah, I want to go there. I've seen a lot of my friends have gone, but again, I haven't been too much on the East Coast. So,
most of our activity happened in the synagogue and by the chapel. Offhand, I know we had a lot of stuff happen. Not a lot. I know we had some stuff happen in the synagogue, but the thing that stands out most to me is in the chapel. We had all kinds of equipment set up. There was a TV playing in the background with no sound. And all of a sudden we got words like, again, this is off memory, which I have a horrible memory, but we got words like felon, Sally, and then there was like 3 other words, and over the ovulus. And we look up, and there's a story on the TV. It's a silent movie of Sally, the granddaughter of one of the people. She had donated a bunch of artifacts for history. So it was crazy. I was like, whoa. And meters were going off, and so,
oh yeah.
And cool. Anybody that's going to say, well, the ovulus has a microphone, there was no sound on the TV, and it came up after the words popped up. So.
Oh, cool.
So. Yeah.
Okay, so again, I haven't this one either. This one's California. I've never been to California. RMS Queen Mary, Long Beach, California. Again, I've seen this one on several shows.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought you said you've never heard of it. I was like, what? You've never been there. I get you now.
Never been there. I've definitely heard of the Queen Mary.
It's on my bucket list.
Again, yeah, I want to go, but this retired ocean liner sailed the Atlantic Ocean from 1936 to 1967. During her first 3 years at sea, the Queen Mary carried Hollywood celebrities like Elizabeth Taylor and Audrey Hepburn and dignitaries like General Dwight Eisenhower. Her days as a luxury ship were short-lived, however, and in 1939 she was stripped of her amenities and began her second life as the Grey Ghost, a World War II troop ship. At the conclusion of the war, she was restored to her former glory and traversed the Atlantic for nearly 2 more decades. On Halloween 1967, the Queen Mary departed on her last cruise, eventually docking in Long Beach, California, her final resting place. The ship is reportedly haunted by the spirits of those who died aboard, such as the young sailor who was crushed to death by a door in the engine room and a crew member who was murdered in cabin B340. Spooky fact: Winston Churchill signed the D-Day Declaration aboard the Queen Mary during World War II. How to visit. The Queen Mary no longer sails the Atlantic, but she lives on as a floating hotel and restaurant on California's Pacific coast. Follow in the footsteps of her famous passengers and book a room. Don't want to share a suite with ghosts? The Queen Mary also offers a variety of tour packages. Visit during Halloween season and join ghouls and spirits and the undead aboard the Queen Mary when she transforms into Dark Harbor. Again, this is one I really want to go to. The episodes of the different TV shows I've seen of the Queen Mary have been really good.
Yeah, me too.
So this is the Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast in Massachusetts. I think we all know this story. On August 4th of 1892, the bodies of Andrew and Abby Borden were discovered bludgeoned beyond recognition in their home. The prime suspect, their youngest daughter, Lizzie. The Borden case is one of America's first crimes to unfold under the media spotlight, capturing the attention of the nation. Despite allegations that Lizzie had financial motives for the murder and growing public scrutiny, she was ultimately acquitted due to lack of physical evidence. The Borden home since has been converted into a museum and bed and breakfast where guests can see gruesome photos of the crime scene and sleep in one of its reportedly haunted rooms. The 19th century murder made headlines again when it received a Hollywood makeover with a Lifetime 2014 movie, Lizzie Borden Took an Axe, starring Christina Ricci. I don't think I've seen that one.
It was really good. Whether you believe the storyline that they put out or not, it was a good movie.
I'll have to go look at that one because I like Christina Ricci.
Yeah, it was. They did good. They really did good.
There is spooky fact: no one was ever charged for the Borden murders. I did know that.
Yeah.
How to visit: guests can book a room at the Lizzie Borden B&B and sleep in the same rooms where the Bordens took their final breaths. Too scared to stay the night? The museum offers daily hour-long tours, and a gift shop sells spooky souvenirs like an axe-wielding Lizzie Borden bobblehead doll.
Yeah,
that sounds really touristy.
Oh yeah, yeah. And, the prices are just crazy. I'm not one that likes to pay for investigations anyway, so my unreasonable price might not be somebody else's.
Right.
But it just...
Some people will pay anything to have that experience. I
am not.
Let's see. This next one is another one on my bucket list.
Me too. Me too.
Stanley Hotel, Estes Park, Colorado. Again, I have seen several of the shows go to the Stanley now. It looks really cool.
It does.
One night in this hotel nestled in Colorado's mountain wilderness inspired Stephen King's best-selling novel turned horror film The Shining. Massachusetts couple F.O. and Laura Stanley opened the isolated resort in 1909 and reportedly never left. According to staff, Mrs. Stanley can be heard playing her Steinway piano in the music room at night, and Mr. Stanley occasionally shows up in photographs. There have also been reports of bags being unpacked, lights turning off and on, and echoes of children's laughter heard in the hallways. Paranormal experts hail the Stanley Hotel as one of the nation's most active ghost sites in the United States. Spooky fact, guest bedrooms have a TV channel that plays The Shining on a 24-hour loop. I don't think so.
Of course they would. Like, come on.
I'm sure they do, but I don't think I can handle that, no. How to visit. Book a room at the Stanley and spend a night with the hotel's permanent guest. You can also purchase a ghost adventure package. Your very own red rum mug. Too spooked to spend the night? Book a day tour or brave the nighttime ghost tour. Visit during the Halloween season and enjoy special events like the Red Rum Mystery Dinner or the Shining Ball.
This place is beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. I would love to go.
Yeah, again, I want to go. Estes Park, I have a friend who goes there every year on a motorcycle camping trip, and her pictures are just gorgeous.
I want to know what the hell the quote-unquote ghost adventurers package is. Like, do you get demons and goosebumps and possessions and everything that comes with it?
Make you wonder. I don't know. I had heard... This article, of course, is from 2018. I had heard that they were backing off on the ghost stuff, but I don't know.
Maybe. I saw something last year of some people that had went and stuff, so I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. I think people are still going. It's still a hotel and it's still open, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
This next one, again, is another one I want to go to, and I've seen on several shows. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Weston, West Virginia.
I have not been yet. Maybe this year. Maybe.
This foreboding asylum began construction in 1858 and opened to patients in 1864. The massive structure was designed by architect Richard Andrews to maximize sunlight and fresh air. It was believed that the building itself would serve as a healing environment. By the 1950s, the facility designed for 250 people housed 2,400 patients in crowded conditions with afflictions ranging from alcoholism to epilepsy. Patients were physically restrained and often given inhumane treatments such as electroshock therapy and lobotomies. After more than a century in operation, this facility was forced to close in 1994 due to reforms in mental health treatment and the deterioration of the building. Hundreds of patients died during the asylum's tenure, and scores of guests and ghost hunters have claimed to see their shadowy figures roaming Trans-Allegheny's crumbling halls. Spooky fact, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum is the largest hand-cut stone masonry building in North America, and supposedly the second largest in the world after the Kremlin in Moscow. That's interesting. I didn't know that one.
Yeah, I did.
How to visit. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum offers historical day tours Tuesday through Sunday. Visit during October to participate in ghost hunts, paranormal tours, and flashlight tours, or attend the annual Asylum Ball.
Yeah, that's another one that should be on my bucket list.
Yeah, that's one I want to go to. Like I said, I've seen several shows there, and they've got some great stuff.
I always, we've been to multiple insane asylums, since the past. They've now changed the names somewhere down the road, but basically that's what they were. They were stock houses for medically sick to people that had mental illness, to epilepsy, to people that just weren't wanted. We've been to quite a few of them, and I always feel bad when I say, oh, I want to go check that place out, because then I remember the history, and I'm like, Shay, you're such an asshole. Don't get excited about these places.
Right.
Because they were tortured and neglected and abused, and so I try to keep myself balanced.
The tragic history of these places is terrible, but I also think it's important that we remember that history so we don't
repeat it.
Yeah, exactly.
We've been to Laconia State School, again, that's had multiple names, Westboro State Hospital. We've been to so many, Medfield State, and they all have that same sad story. Like, this is just a place we locked people away for any... Like, men could lock up their wives for PMS.
Exactly. The one over here is Bartonville State Asylum, and that one actually started out kind of bad, but ended up reforming mental health care.
Good.
Zeller is the name of the guy who started really reforming mental health care. It really started there in Bartonville, the modern mental health care.
Yeah. We've come a long way, but still not far enough. There's still a stigma with mental health. Not quite like it used to be, but still too much of a stigma.
Right. Zeller went all through the state of Illinois and took some of the worst cases out of some of the worst asylums and brought them to Bartonville. And really, he's credited with reforming the whole mental health system. So, Bartonville, that asylum is haunted as well.
Of course. These places, I believe, there's so much sad history that it holds so much, what's the word? Like, they either get stuck there. I don't know if it's because they felt stuck there in their life, or it's just a place they spent so much time and they go back. But yeah.
Right. I don't know if the whole mental health thing, if their mind just can't come to grips with being dead and gone, and they just don't understand that they should leave. I don't know. That, or just the energy from all that they went through there is just trapped.
Well, some of them, even like Belchertown, some of them didn't actually have quote unquote mental health issues. It was just Westboro, Laconia, like in World War II, that's just where they couldn't afford their kids and they just dropped them off. They actually had nothing wrong with them. But yeah, they had no mental illness. Laconia also was a prisoner of war camp at one point. So all these places have this deep history, but a lot of it had nothing to do with mental illness.
Right, exactly. It just... we're lucky to live in a time where our mental health system has been reformed. That's when I go and see what happened in those places, we are lucky to live now versus living then, because there were some really bad things that happened there to people who did nothing wrong.
Exactly. I openly talk about the fact that I suffer from mental illness, as some would call it. I have severe PTSD. Severe. It mellows out a little bit as I practice new ways to control it and stuff. But let me tell you, if I was from the 40s or 50s, I would have been locked up and thrown away forever.
Yeah.
For nothing I did, just couldn't handle traumatic experiences.
Right. Right, exactly. I've got some pretty severe anxiety issues that, yeah.
Yep, me too.
I've got medication.
Yep. So, and I openly talk about my issues on purpose because I want people to know they're not alone, and it's not as unusual as some people would make others think.
You're exactly right. It's not uncommon. A lot of people have it, and there's nothing wrong with getting help, and you can live a normal life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And that's my message to people, that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Not everybody's light looks the same, but you're not alone, period. So.
Right. For sure, for sure. I think one of the things that strikes me the most about going to these insane asylums and hearing talk about them and stuff is just how wrong they were.
Yes, and exactly. I'm 1,000% agreeing with you. But also that we, as a whole, sometimes forget the human story behind it.
Right. Exactly.
It's not just about ghosts. It's, about history and stopping it from repeating. And these people suffered.
Exactly. They did. And that's, I think, what irritates me about some of the shows.
Yeah.
We're talking about where they go and they
torment and.
Exactly. They don't treat them like people.
Exactly.
It just, I get very irritated, which is why I don't watch a lot of the more modern shows, because I get irritated at the way they're treating the ghosts there. Yeah. There's no reason for that.
Amen. I'm the same way. It really, really bothers me. You should treat spirits, ghosts, potential, anything. Even if you're actually not talking to anything, but you think you might be, treat them with respect, treat them with dignity. Don't torment them. Don't bully them. Treat them like you want somebody to treat your grandmother.
Exactly.
It really bothers me. And this is why I'm not very popular.
Yeah, I know. That's why whenever it's like talking about, oh, have you seen this show or that show? And I'm like, nope.
It's some of the shows I would like to check out, the newer ones. I just don't have time. Or I don't get the channel because, like, for instance, I'm not going to say any show names, but I'll just say I don't get the Travel Channel.
Right.
I'm not paying over $200 a month more just to add one channel. But I love some of the people on there.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Again, there's so many shows now that I think you could watch 24/7 and still not see all of them. Yeah. So,
all right, guys. I think on that note, our time is up. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed season 1. Watch out for season 2. It will be coming soon. If you have any stories you think we should cover in season 2, make sure you send them to us and we'll give you a special shout out.
Yes, we look forward to chatting with you in the Facebook group and look forward to season 2 coming soon.
Yes. Hey, what you want to throw out what the Facebook group is, because I forgot to do that?
Exploring the Unknown with Rebecca and Shay.
Yes. So, thank you guys.
Thanks.